Hello, friends and neighbors, and welcome to Bronx Talk. Our guest today is one of 3 freshman Bronx City Council members, but despite being new in the City Council, he has quickly risen to leadership positions. He's the chair of the Council's Standing Committee on Sanitation and Solid Waste Management. Along with Councilmember Amanda Farias, he is the co-chair of the Council's Bronx delegation. He's also co-chair of the Council's LGBTQIA+ caucus. And tonight, along with those positions, we'll talk with him about issues in the 17th Council District, which includes the South Bronx neighborhoods of Mott Haven, Melrose, Morrisania, Longwood, Hunts Point, Bronx River, and also Crotona Park East. Please join me in welcoming to Bronx Talk Councilmember Justin Sanchez. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Gary.
I'm thrilled to have you because I've been getting emails all the time, which means you're really doing the job, or the people on your staff are doing the job. How's it been? Has it been like you expected? Has it been good? Has it been a challenge? What do you think?
Honestly, I had no idea what to expect. You think, I've spent nearly a decade working in public service, starting off as a constituent services liaison and worked my way up to a chief of staff in both the Senate and the Assembly. So you think you know what's going to happen when you get to the other side of being elected. But boy, do you find out quickly that you have no idea. So it's been really busy, but it has been the honor of a lifetime to be able to work for my neighbors and my community and the Bronx.
So what is it that was surprising, or that you had to say, well, wait a minute, I got to do this, or whatever?
Well, when you're on staff, you're in the
You
work.
worked for Senator Fernandez.
I worked for Senator Fernandez. I worked for Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. And when you're on staff, you're in the work. And so, but when you are the elected official, not only are you in the work, but you are also the spokesperson for the work. And that adds a complete, total other layer of responsibility that you have to take with responsibility.
You couldn't just get the information. You have to be the one to verbalize it, to articulate it,
Absolutely.
and of course push it forward. I went to the debate that we did before you were elected. You said you wanted to make city services work for us. You wanted to be new hope for our community, and we'll talk about all those things as we go through. But the main thing you said it was a four-word sentence: clean the damn streets. So I guess it's very easy to see how you transitioned to be the chair of the Sanitation Committee. Why was that numero uno, and what have you done since to give us all a chance to actually clean the damn streets?
Well, funny enough, the first words out of my mouth when many of my neighbors heard me knocking at their doors to talk about the campaign was, clean the damn streets. And
Really?
Let's start with some trash cans on our street corners, and that's exactly what we did. 2 weeks into my administration, we had 62 new trash cans delivered all across the district. We are currently in plans to add even more. It's about providing basic city services and showing that the folks that are elected, that are responsible for picking up our trash, fixing our roads, doing basics, understand and care about our communities. And so I felt, and from the conversations that I've had with all of my neighbors and my community members, that they just felt like city services weren't working for them, that government wasn't working for them, that no one cared if their streets were dirty. And so I wanted to make sure that I went in there and got right to work.
As the moderator of that debate, I remember being a little bit surprised, because I know that we're all talking about housing, and we're talking about crime, and we're talking about nowadays, of course, immigration services and all those other things. So I was like, gee, why is this guy saying it? But from what you just said, I hadn't thought of it. It's like the broken window theory, that if you start here, then maybe you can get to other things. Am I onto something there?
That is exactly right.
It's a revelation. You saw it happen here on the show.
But that's exactly right. How can I have my community members and my neighbors and Bronxites trust me to lead if I can't show them that I can pick up their trash when that is the very basics that we're supposed to be doing as a city? And so I'm here to show that the city actually cares.
Well, let's talk about I don't want to say more serious item, but we had 2 very large snowstorms. And I'll recount as a resident of the Bronx and a resident of New York City. The first one, a lot of people were upset, including me, about the way the snow was handled or not handled. In my mind, and somebody who sits in this chair, I understood it was right after Mayor Mamdani had gotten elected. So I understand maybe everything wasn't in place, didn't give him a chance to really anticipate, et cetera. And then, of course, the second storm, things were a little better. Talk about the perspective of the sanitation department of both of those activities.
Well, I was there for each of the storms. I was greeting our sanitation workers as they left on their shifts at 5:30 in the morning, working hand in hand with both the commissioner and the chief. What happened during the storms was the first storm, afterwards we had record freezing temperature. Mother Nature did us no favors. And really, in addition to that, sanitation had to pick up the slack for a lot of different agencies and a lot of other folks that had jobs to do that didn't do them. For
Really?
example, our bus stops, our
So that's
city,
the transit.
So our bus stops are not even. DOT has DOT has contracts with these mega corporations to clean, that are responsible for cleaning our bus stops, cleaning the city bike stations, cleaning the Link NYC stations. During the snowstorm, both the first and the second one, New Yorkers got nearly 5,000 fines. Different property owners, different tenants.
I'm afraid about what you're about to tell me.
These big mega corporations received $0 in fines. And my first bill changed that. So we just finished passing a bill last week in the City Council that finally holds to account these big mega corporations that are responsible for our bus stops, responsible for cleaning our city bike stations, responsible for cleaning any of our public street furniture, actually now will be held to the same standard that all of our property owners, all of our renters are already held to.
So that's the 416A? Is
Yes.
that the one?
Litter's last stop.
Right, approved legislation to improve street cleanliness and snow removal. I think the biggest thing was that, all right, so they got the streets clean, there's plenty of salt around, and in most cases they did. But then, you know, you got to either dig out, and then even after you moved out, the snow was still piled up and became a hazard.
It was absolutely a hazard, but I think this is exactly why we held an oversight hearing just on snow removal, understanding what went well, what didn't go well, and what we can do better. That's what I think government is all about. It is about using the ability of these committees to hold these oversight hearings to make sure that we're improving our systems.
Was it difficult to communicate this to your colleagues? And I guess it's an education for you along the way to figure out how to get these things passed, because obviously you could talk all you want, but if it doesn't pass, it doesn't turn out well. So do you find it difficult, or something like this seems so logical? Was it easy? I mean, characterize it, if you would, for the folks listening.
Well, it's all about making sure that you have great relationships. And so being able to communicate these bills and show my colleagues why this bill is important and how it could help their constituents. My bill was voted on unanimously. All of the Republicans also joined on. And what we're showing is that good legislation can come out of the South Bronx.
You won't get an argument from me on that. That's having sat in this seat for many years.
So it's really making sure that I am working those relationships, understanding how to communicate with everyone involved, and showing why these pieces of legislation are great for our city in general.
One thing which I learned about through talking to your staff is about the city code to designate operators of outdoor furniture units. Now, I didn't fully understand what that meant. I mean, is that people who, like, throw away their dresser and they leave it in the street? Is that what we're talking about? Or explain what that's all about.
No, outdoor furniture is like your stands at your bus station. It is the city.
I see.
Anything that is public furniture, if you will. It's the overall term for anything that basically is attached to the ground outside that it can be used by people that is attributed to some part of the city. So
City Bike included?
City Bike is included.
Wow. And so now the operators will be responsible. That goes back to what we just talked about.
Exactly.
Another thing, I'm just going to go through all the sanitation stuff. Mayor Adams was I think, very good at moving composting forward. He insisted on it. I do it in my home. We have it in our building. You know, I'm hoping that you do as well. Where are we at Is it working? And you know, are people getting the message? I mean, what do the people in the sanitation department say about it?
We have a lot of work to do. Our diversion rates when it comes to recycling, when it comes
Diversion?
to diversion rates. So basically, when we say diversion rates, it's how your trash is being separated and sorted. So when we are talking about diversion, we're talking about your recycling. So is your recycling actually being diverted to the right actual recycling facilities? Is your composting being diverted to the composting facilities? And so our diversion rates, are at 19% on a good day.
And then what happens to the other, what is that, 81?
It just goes directly to our landfills. It gets absolutely...
Oh, so it's not getting where...
it is not getting where it's supposed to.
I want my money back.
We have a lot of work to do.
Wow.
Compared to a place like San Francisco, that's reporting nearly 80% diversion rates when it comes to their recycling.
What is the problem?
I think there's many problems. We have a lot of education to do. We need to continue telling folks about the program, understanding what it actually is, and we need buy-in from the community. It's not just about implementing these laws, but it's also about actually getting buy-in and working with our local community members to actually push forward green systems that we need to better our planet and better our communities.
So that 19%, is that for composting or also for the recycling as
Also
well?
for recycling.
Also for recycling. One of the things that I find, and so I'm just going to share it with everybody here and with the council member, I don't know which types of plastic. So I buy some food and strawberries and they come in some plastic thing, and I don't know, is that the same as like the water bottle plastic? Can it be recycled? You don't have to answer that specific, but I think that that's a big thing.
So one of the things that our team is looking into right now is we know that folks need help understanding what recycling is, how to even dispose of the grease that you use properly after you're done cooking. So what we would like to do is use our Link NYC stations to be able to show different folks the proper ways to recycle, the proper ways to throw out your grease by being able to use the systems already in place to distribute education.
I'm going to speak on behalf of BronxNet Television, and I spoke to your staff about this. I would love to do a show on that. We could set up all the different items and then explain to people what they can recycle and go through all of it. So
Anytime.
There you go. Okay. All right, let's move ahead. You are the co-chair of the LGBTQIA plus caucus. I guess rather than ask for a status, let's just talk about that pride flag that was removed down by the Stonewall Inn. You were part of the community of people that put it back up. Talk about all of that and what that means and what it means to the city of New York and the people of the Bronx, of course.
Well, the flag is still standing. And I think what this really shows is the resiliency of New Yorkers, the resiliency of Bronxites,
and resiliency of the lesbian gay community, without giving all the other initials, but them too, sure.
You know, all of the rainbow children, all in
There
all.
you
At
go.
this point,
That's the
at
way
this
to
point
say
there's so many letters. We need to find another way to make sure that everyone is properly involved. So all of the rainbow children, yes. But I think the biggest thing is showing that this is New York City. This is the place where you can come here and be anything, love anyone, and do anything that you want in the world. We're the place where dreams come true. And that is what, as an elected official, I want to continue doing for my community, making sure that they have every opportunity possible. I will say this till I'm blue in the face. I think there is so much talent, especially here in the Bronx, but we are given a lack of opportunity all of the time. And so one of the things that I make sure to do is always continue to open those doors of opportunity, because you never know just what lucky break you need in order to hit that next step.
Just talking about it, usually I save talking about the federal government and what we're getting from Washington for the end of the show, because we want to deal with all the city issues. But this is related to it. If the effort from the Trump administration gets stronger in New York City, whether it be through immigration or through DEI, which I'd never even heard the term until they started raising it, which really is the undercurrent of every conversation I have here on BronxTalk. How do we deal with that? I mean, it's in this case it was pretty easy. They took the flag down, we put the flag back up. But how do you view the future and what you might have to do or what we all might have to do if things change or start turning like it turned in Minnesota or Portland or wherever?
I think what the flag was more about was not just a flag, but it was a bringing together of community. And when times get tough, New Yorkers have to get tougher. And I think
that's who we are.
Exactly. And so I think what we would need to do in all of these situations is really rely on each other as community members. That's where the power of our community really shines through, and understanding that New Yorkers will have each other's back. This is where we understand why we have a separation between our federal government and our state government, and understanding, if we can't rely on our federal government, we better be able to rely on our state government partners. So it is more important than ever to pay attention to who your assembly members are, who your senators are, who your elected officials are, and hold them to account. Even as an elected official, I'm saying hold me to account as well, but hold your partners to account, because that is who's going to be out there protecting you, and make sure that you have a fighter on your side.
Let's talk about housing. You, I believe it was in the debate, talked about, rather than using AMI, you talked about CMI, community media income. I rarely, or I'd like not to use the word affordable, because it doesn't mean anything. If
for who?
If it's for your neighborhood or for you, it's not affordable. You can call it affordable all you want. What do you mean by changing that very basic measuring stick for how much rent people should have?
So the crazy part of our affordability rent system is that we operate on AMI, area medium income. And unfortunately, the area that is calculated as our area median income not only includes New York City, but also includes Westchester and Rockland counties, which kind of throws off all of the math. And so this idea would be, mind you, Westchester and Rockland counties do not use New York City numbers, but somehow we're using them. That's a different conversation. But what I'm saying is, okay, why don't we actually do the same calculations, the same formulas that we're doing to understand how we're building these housing, how we're going to do maintenance, but use a community medium income, which is either working with my state and city partners on what we can agree to, either the the medium income of your community board or your council district or your Senate district, whatever we can, come to terms with, and be able to use that and then provide a tax credit or fill in the gap somehow to make sure that, we can actually build housing that our communities can actually afford, but also make sure that it's not just built, but it's maintained afterwards. I think a lot of the things we don't talk about is it's not just about building the housing, but it's also about maintaining the housing afterwards, because folks not only need a place to live, they need a place to actually call home. And you can't call home when your house is falling apart.
Do you have a sense that this would be a very dramatic change in how things are done? Do you have a sense that your colleagues in the city council are as open-minded about these things as you are?
I think
it's too early to tell.
I think folks are looking for ideas and folks are looking for plans. And so I think whoever is coming out with plans and ideas, they're going to have a warm welcome, because that's what everyone's looking for. I think there are many different types of electeds. There are some electeds that, highlight issues, and other electeds that highlight plans to solve issues. And you need both of them coming together in order to deliver really good legislation.
The COPA bill didn't get passed. If I recall, it was Eric Adams who vetoed it. You talked about community land trusts in the debate we did. Is that reality? And the COPA thing did not disappear. It's going to come up again. What are your thoughts now?
I love community land trusts. I think we need to be innovative about how we're using city property, how we're using our open space, how we're using our green space, and really find ways to truly go above and beyond what we thought reality should be. We need to dream big instead of continuing to do the same old things over and over again. And I think community land trusts are a way to have New Yorkers, and have Bronxites especially, reclaim their land and really truly dream big. I think COPA is definitely on the table. There's a lot of really great legislation that is under discussion on how to find ways to make sure that we are reclaiming our time and reclaiming our homes.
Thinking of being innovative, last week we did a show on Hunts Point, and the folks at the Hunts Point Greater Economic Development Corporation and the Fulton Fish Market and many other people out there are excited about what they're calling the Blue Highway, to convert the trucks that have been destroying Bronx lungs for generations and having stuff delivered by ferry. What do you think?
I am super supportive of the Blue Highways Initiative. I do want to make sure that also there are places where we can have docks that are right on the water for some of these markets, like the Fulton Fish Market, but for our other markets, our other locations, also understanding how we're going to be approaching last mile. When they get to the docks, making sure what trucks or what systems are we using from the ferries or the barges to the actual final destination.
I see. So it's one thing to load them up downtown or wherever they're coming from. It's another thing to have a system so that the fish market gets what they need to get,
exactly.
and everybody else gets
but I am super supportive of the Blue Highways Initiative. I am working diligently with the Speaker's office and the Mayor's team to advocate for funding for our 3 markets. They are small businesses, the backbone of a lot of our food systems, not only here in New York, but on the Eastern Seaboard in general. We have the 2nd largest fish market in the world after Tokyo. We have so many cool things that our Bronxites need to come see and explore and experience that are right in the heart of our backyards that we're trying to make sure get the proper attention and love they deserve. Super excited to be having the Speaker come visit all of our markets in next month.
Is she coming?
Yes, the Speaker of
Okay.
the City Council. We are working diligently on making sure that our markets get the help that they need to make sure that we are pushing through.
Well, where does the new mayor sit in all of this, and what's your impression? And I'm not going to ask you this again. I asked you this during the debate about the word progressive, and I try not to use it because it stereotypes people from making individual decisions if they have a different opinion. But where does this mayor stand on many of these initiatives, as far as you know at this point?
From our conversations, the mayor has been super open to all of the ideas that we've had, whether it comes from our more trash cans for the district, or it comes to cleaning up the hub, when it comes to support for our markets. The mayor has been really in lockstep with a lot of these initiatives, and it's been really exciting to have a great partner in City Hall.
And you mentioned that the new speaker was coming to the Bronx. How do you feel that she's done in terms of interacting with individuals like yourself, especially new folks like yourself?
Personally, the speaker has been absolutely fantastic to me, to the community in general, and to understanding how to really be an effective legislator. Through her leadership, I was already able to pass my first bill. I sit on a number of really great committees to really, truly understand the City Council in all of its different facets, and learning from her leadership. She runs a tight ship. It has been, quite an honor.
It's worked. Julie Menon has worked out for you so far.
Thus far, knock on wood.
I'm just thinking about your district, and we listed all the neighborhoods at the top of the show. There are a lot of commercial districts in there. Certainly the hub is as important as any in the borough of the Bronx. What's the health? How would you grade the health of commercial district, commercial corridors in your district? How are they doing? And to help them, what do they need?
I would rate it an E for effort.
Boy, going down from A, B, C, D, that's where we are.
We are at E. Our small businesses need help, and I have been sounding the alarms to anyone that would listen. I truly believe that we are the economic development hub of the Bronx. We have the 3rd Avenue, the hub, which has always been one of the biggest, if not the largest commercial corridor, now overtaken by Fordham Road. We have Southern Boulevard, that has always been a huge commercial corridor, and our small businesses are craving for attention, are craving for help, and I'm here to try and help breathe life into them.
What are the kinds kinds of things that they need? I mean, they're all complaining about being overtaxed and everything else.
Well, the rent these days for our businesses is astronomical, and even just getting the entry point to be able to open a business has been absolutely insane. I'm currently in the process of negotiating to get my permanent district office. Unfortunately, the previous council member, the office was being bulldozed at the end of the year.
Oh, really? Oh,
So I
that.
have a temporary district office on 146th and Walton, but we're in the middle of, and we have been for months, working with a number of different brokers and to try and do this. And if the council member's office is having a horrible, tough time trying to find space and location, imagine what our small business owners are going through.
I was just thinking that you are going through what many of the small business owners, or in particular the entrepreneurs. We know that entrepreneurship is up since the pandemic, especially in the Bronx, when people are creative and they say, well, they're not going to do it, we'll do it ourselves. So you're going through it. Is there legislation out there, you think, at this point, or is it really just working with individuals and kind of giving them the kind of support that they need to figure out how to do it?
I think it's about giving the support, but it's also by hosting roundtables, getting really deep into the issue to truly understand what's the best legislation that we could put forward, what's the best kind of package we can put forward. I think one of the worst things that any elected can do is walk into a room and tell folks what they need, instead of listening to what folks actually need and being there to provide the support and help to make sure that they get what they need through the support that you can provide them.
So we've reviewed, a lot of stuff that you've been working on. Is there something new that I didn't ask you about, or you think about, gee, this is what we're going to work on, either in the district or in general?
Oh, well, we're truly working on economic development and finding ways.
Economic development.
Yes, and finding ways to also raise revenue for the city with the World Cup coming.
Oh, I was going to ask you about that. Okay.
We are so excited about the World Cup, and I know my community is super excited. We're looking into different ideas such as entertainment zones, so folks know where in the city that they should be going to watch the games.
Oh, that's exciting. Where in the city? No, where in District 17?
That's
we want
exactly
them in
what
there,
we're
spending their money there.
Exactly. We're looking at Melrose, all of the restaurants along Melrose, finding ways to really work with our local small businesses and highlight them and find ways for our community to get plugged in, finding different ideas, collectible cups that are public water cups that could be collectibles from the Department of Sanitation, finding ways to actually increase revenue but also have a good time and show the love that we have for our city.
I was just thinking, based on what you said, knowing all the different restaurants, ethnic restaurants, you can, do it when your team is playing. How exciting.
Absolutely.
Mexican and Argentina, just like they're doing in the World Baseball Classic.
Exactly.
All right, we got to run. Justin Sanchez, thank you so much. Your
Absolutely,
first
Gary.
appearance as a council member. I'm guessing you'll be back again.
I hope so.
Thank you so much for joining us. And that will conclude the program. We want to thank our producer, Ray Pagnucco. We have a great Bronxnet production and editing crew. And of course, to you too, it is the people of the Bronx. That's why we're here. That's why we do what we do. And we'll see you next week. Next week's also going to be very, very interesting, about a journalism feature about the Bronx that you're going to want to know about. We'll see you then.